ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗೇಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನು ಪ್ರಶಾಂತ್ ನಾತು. ನಿನ್ನೆಯಷ್ಟೇ ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ನ ರಾಜಧಾನಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ISISನ ಉಗ್ರರು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಭೀಕರ ದಾಳಿಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿದ್ದು 160ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನ ಸಾವಿಗೀಡಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗೇಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ವೀಡನ್ನಿನ ಮಾಜಿ ರಾಯಭಾರಿ, ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ನ ರಾಯಭಾರ ಕಚೇರಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲಸ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಿವೃತ್ತ IFS ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರು. ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರೇ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗೇಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರೇ, ನಿನ್ನೆಯ ಒಂದು ಘಟನೆ,
ಹೌದು,
ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಉಗ್ರರು ದಾಳಿಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಕ್ರೀಡಾಂಗಣದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕಲ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಜಿಯೋ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ?
ನೋಡಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲೈಸೇಷನ್, ಎನಿ ಈವೆಂಟ್ ಎನಿವೇರ್, ಅದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ರಿಪರ್ಕಷನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ is not an ordinary one. Firstly, it is for France, since World War II, it is the biggest assault on France. 160 more than 160 have been killed. About another 200 or so are seriously injured. We do not know what is the final tally.
ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ನ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿ ನಡೆಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ.
ಹೌದು. And the President Hollande has said that this is an attack of war by ISIS. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು and why is this so important? If you recollect, about a month and a half ago, end of September, France started bombing ISIS training centers in Syria for the first time. So this is a revenge. Of course, you also know January there was an attack in Paris again, but that was in the office of Charlie Hebdo. That had some other origin, but this is basically a matter regarding French intervention in Syria. Now you all know that the Syrian problem started 2011 May, when it was decided that the government in power was oppressing the citizens, and Avaga, the French and Britain took a lot of active interest in starting the attack against the Syrian government and supporting the so-called Free Syrian Army, which is the rebels, also called moderate rebels. Along with that, what happened was the extremist elements also joined in. Al-Qaeda's offshoot, Al-Nusra, that also joined in, and then this revolutionary ISIS came in. ISIS spread very rapidly, became very strong. ಅದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆದರಿಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಆವಾಗ the French started, in September, they started attacking. And this is the attack yesterday is the result of the vengeance by ISIS. What will happen with this is France will attack more ISIS. They will now see
ಈ ಘಟನೆಯಿಂದ ಪ್ರತಿಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್.
ಹೌದು. ಮತ್ತೆ they said also, the president clearly said, we will continue our action. ಅಂದ್ರೆ they will continue to attack ISIS, number one. Number two, Middle East ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, Iran, the position of Iran. And therefore in fact right now there is a meeting in Vienna going on how to solve the Syrian issue. Therefore this bombing has come one day just before that. So in this meeting at
Vienna
talk has started today. Second round. First round ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, and Iran was not invited. This time Iran was invited for the first time. So therefore this meeting will be very, very interesting and significant.
ಭಾರತ, ರಷ್ಯಾ, ಅಲ್-ಖೈದಾ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್ನ ನಂತರ ಅಮೆರಿಕದ ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ದಾಳಿ ನಡೀತು. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಮೊದಲಿಂದಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ದಾಳಿಗಳು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ವು. ಆದರೆ ಈಗ ತಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್, ಜರ್ಮನಿ, ಆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಾ, ಬೆಲ್ಜಿಯಂ ಈ ರೀತಿ ದೇಶಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿ ಆಗಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್-ಖೈದಾ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ರೇಡಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯುರೋಪ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ISIS
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯುರೋಪಿಂದು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಈಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಯುರೋಪ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಟೋಮನ್ ಎಂಪೈರ್. Ottoman Empire, First World War. Because of that, it was divided into the British sphere of influence and the French sphere of influence. A French sphere of influence, Syria is coming in. So the French impact on Syria influence goes up to that time. And the British was on Iraq and all that. So this is going on from those days. Number one. Number two, the French were also involved in the attack on the Syrian government. The French are also involved in maintaining the Western position, because the past history of colonialism. So Europe is very much involved. America is of course now the superpower, but Europe was earlier ruling the world.
ಬಟ್ ISIS ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಯುರೋಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ 4,000 to 5,000 ಜನ ಸಿರಿಯಾಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಯುರೋಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಪಾಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್.
See what has happened, ಅದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. See what has happened is that some of the Muslims have felt alienated, that they were not treated properly. That is not the complaint of all those who have gone to Syria, whether it is the jihadi John and all the others. So it is those guys who were in Europe, holding European passports, who felt alienated, who felt that they were not being treated well. Or the reaction. Matte illige hogi, after going to Syria and Iraq and Syria, they felt also, but incidentally the war in Iraq, which started in 2003, they felt it was unfair. It was an attack by the West based on falsehood that there was a weapon of mass destruction, which was not there, only to dominate. But really, how many millions were displaced and so many lakhs were killed. So that anger was there. And that has led to the growth of terrorism, number one. Number two, these guys who have gone there, some of them have returned. Either our returnees are the ones who are behind all of this. And they must be local citizens because they could not have moved so freely. Otherwise, after January of this year, after the Charlie Hebdo attack, the French police and the French intelligence community was alert. This is in spite of all that alertness that this particular thing was planned. You can imagine, it's not a small thing at all.
ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆ ಗಂಟೆ ಅಂತೀರಾ ಯುರೋಪ್? ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಓಪನ್ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಟರ್ಕಿಯಿಂದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ
ಹೌದು. That is why now there is rethinking about the Schengen.
ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಸಮಾಜ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ
You see, first and foremost, racism must have been there. Otherwise, why? Racism means from the common people. Under the law, everybody is equal. In Europe is a democracy, everybody is equal. But that is different from the social aspect. And that is why many people complain that they have been treated badly because they are not Christians or they are not Europeans.
ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಅದರ
These are they feed into the mind, into the mentality. One cannot say exactly this, but there are various elements. Human mind is very complex, Allah. So really, just one element irudilla. It is only a simple mind which takes only one thing, but a more complicated mind would factor in various issues. Here again, how have we been treated? What have been the impact elsewhere?
ಈ ಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸಂಕಟ, ಕೆಲ 2 ತಿಂಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ನಿರಾಶ್ರಿತರು ಸಿರಿಯಾ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಲಿಬಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಭಯೋತ್ಪಾದನೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು
ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ಗೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್.
ಹೌದು. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದಂದರೆ ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್. The joining together of all the European countries into one is not going as well as expected. Audience can do, we'll have common currency. Because of common currency, the Greek problem was not solvable. Otherwise, Greek could easily devalue the currency, the drachma, and finished. So they have to replace. Therefore, this is one of the problems.
This security aspect?
Security aspect is not really linked to the European integration, but it is linked to how people feel they've been treated, number one. And Europe has been a power, and a colonial power. And the past history is there, and also what they have done in the Middle East. Many of this is about what happened in Iraq and Syria.
ಇದು ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ISIS ಮತ್ತು ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ನಡುವೆ
ಆಗ್ತದೆ. It will escalate. I mean, in fact, at this particular juncture, of course, I think let me tell you how India has seen. We have had a lot of crises, but we have handled it well. In the West, they're not used to these things. That is, and as a country is more developed, these things have impact more. When there is very few buildings and a bomb is dropped, nothing will happen. But when there is a big infrastructure and a bomb comes, economy, everything gets disrupted.
ಭಾರತದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನು ಒಟ್ಟು?
Two things. One is we had been warning the West that do not play with terrorism. Do not classify some as good terrorists, some as bad terrorists. Whether it is with Pakistan, whether it is in the Middle East, the West has been supporting terrorists, sending arms. France, by the way, France and UK stopped the embargo, lifted the embargo on arms supply to Syria. Now this is going to the other terrorists. They wanted it to go to their own ones, but it has gone to everybody else. So this is number one, that there is no such thing as good terrorists and bad terrorists. Number one, this will also give more support to India's move at the UN that we must have a comprehensive agreement on terrorism, on counter-terrorism.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರೇ.
Thank you.
ಇವೆಷ್ಟು ನಿವೃತ್ತ IFS ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅವರು ನಿನ್ನೆಯ ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ನ ಏನೊಂದು ಸ್ಫೋಟದ ಘಟನೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಸರಣಿ ಸ್ಫೋಟದ ಘಟನೆ, ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಡೀ ಒಟ್ಟು ವಿಶ್ವದ ರಾಜಕೀಯ, ಭಯೋತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗಿನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆಗಳು. ಈಗೊಂದು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ನ ನಂತರ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಚಾಂದ್ನಿ ಚೌಕ್ನ ಪರಾಠ ವಾಲಿಗಲ್ಲಿಗೆ.